This episode is brought to you by Odd Moe's Pizza in Canby. Handmade awesome pizza plus craft beer, wine, and cider delivered. Order today at 503-263-8444 or visit them online at oddmoes.com.
This episode is also brought to you by Canby Foursquare Church. Since 1978, a place to grow, connect, and serve. Sunday services on campus and online at 9 a.m. and 11 a.m. Learn more at canbyfoursquare.com. Welcome to Now Hear This Canby,
your source for news.
The threat of a possible teacher strike was avoided this week.
There's a new, irresistibly cute creature winning over fans, and its name is Scootaloo.
Sports.
It's like Lucy in the football. You want to kick a field goal, but they take it away from you.
We had to learn how to win.
Goal can't be in the last second of the game!
And interesting conversations.
Because I'm one of the strongest girls ever, and I know that for a fact.
I just really enjoy writing gossip as if I was a bear.
With an old maid daughter that make the best moonshine in the coast.
And if it would have hit me in the face, I think I would have died. I really do.
I guarantee you would have died, man. Are you kidding me?
Welcome to Now Hear This Canby podcast. Thanks for listening. I'm Tyler Clausen, and this is what's happening this week in our community. Work on Highway 99E is set to resume this week as contractors confirm the locations of utilities necessary to replace a damaged stormwater pipe and restart the state's long-delayed $20 million repaving and reconstruction project. Work on the project has been shelved since early March when Oregon Department of Transportation crews found a crack in a 1960s-era stormwater pipe that had to be replaced before additional work on the road can continue. Officials feared that if work continued without replacing the pipe, the use of heavy equipment could cause further damage. Replacing it before proceeding with the project further would also reduce the likely scenario of having to tear up the new pavement to fix leaks or replace the pipe in the future. However, shortly after announcing the discovery, crews packed up and left town with no word as to when the pipe would be replaced or when the long-anticipated project, already several years in the making, would continue. Some news finally arrived Friday, with ODOT advising motorists to expect single-lane closures along Highway 99E for about 2 weeks, starting May 30th, as contractors and utility crews prep for the replacement project. Confirming the location of utilities is an important part of updating the project plans to allow for replacement of the damaged stormwater pipe under the highway, the agency said in the May 2016 update. Officials also expect to remove unused railroad tracks along the 1.5-mile project area and realign the tracks crossing 99E of North Pine Street this summer. Alas, not all news is good news. Reconstruction and repaving of the notoriously pockmarked Highway 99E, which was originally expected to be completed this fall, is now likely to occur in 2024, according to officials. The long-planned facelift officially kicked off with revamping sidewalks and adding ramps and other curb upgrades in the project area, including at Birch Street near McDonald's and South Elm late last year. For more information about the project, including frequently asked questions or to subscribe for updates, visit bit.ly/canbypaving. An Estacada man is facing more than 3 dozen poaching and firearms charges in connection with his alleged illegal taking of nearly 60 big game animals in Clackamas County. Norman Paul Jones, 68, was indicted last month on 38 counts of unlawful taking or possession of a big game mammal, which is a Class A misdemeanor, and 4 counts of felony in possession of a firearm, a Class C felony. The Oregon State Police and Oregon Division of Fish and Wildlife has been investigating Jones, who has previous felony drug and firearm convictions since before June 2022, when investigators executed a search warrant at his home on South Stormer Road in Estacada. Police said the warrant stemmed from information gathered in a previous search warrant of a co-conspirator, which linked Jones to poaching several deer using a rifle. Jones has a prior felony conviction. The search allegedly turned up 2 firearms, a .308 caliber rifle with a mounted scope and a .22 caliber rifle with a mounted scope, which also included a flashlight taped to the barrel. In addition to the firearms, Jones allegedly had in his possession a variety of wildlife parts, including numerous sets of deer and elk antlers that are still attached to the skull. The collection included parts of 3 spike deer, 17 2-point forked horn deer, 19 3-point deer, 18 4-point deer, 2 bull elk, 1 5-point and 1 4-point, and owl parts, including wings and legs. Jones was unable to provide documentation to show the majority of the antlers or other wildlife parts were lawfully possessed, Oregon State Police said in a press release. Prior to being indicted on the previous charges, Oregon State Police received additional information that Jones was again in possession of a firearm, which led to the execution of a second search warrant on April 6th. Police seized another firearm, a Savage Arms 111, which is a .300 Winchester Magnum rifle with scope. Jones was subsequently lodged at the Clackamas County Jail, but was released on his own reconnaissance after a May 1st hearing. Jones's case is set for trial by jury on August 1st, according to court records. A man was arrested in urban unincorporated Clackamas County Thursday morning in connection with a string of break-ins and burglaries at 2 homes. The Clackamas County Sheriff's Office responded to the scene of an alleged burglary on Southwest Cypress Road in Oatfield shortly after 6 a.m. Thursday. The homeowner told police they'd awakened to find a man, later identified as Ricky Levine Sears, 48, in their garage. Sears reportedly fled the scene with stolen items. As deputies were beginning their investigation and search from Cypress Road, a second burglary call came in at 6:27 a.m. This incident was reported on Southeast Lark Avenue near Milwaukee, about a half a mile from the first burglary call. Sears had reportedly forced entry on a rear door of an occupied residence and entered the living room before fleeing the scene by leaping over a fence, according to the police. Deputies then began tracking the suspect with a K-9 officer Coda, a Dutch Shepherd Coda, and initiated a reverse 911 call asking area residents to shelter in place and be aware of police activity. Dispatch relayed sightings of Sears from multiple residents. Deputies also deployed a drone in the area in an attempt to locate the suspect. The K-9 track proved successful as Coda located Sears hiding in a shed on Southeast Kelly Court in Clackamas, another half mile from the second burglary call. Deputies took Sears into custody at approximately 7:39 a.m. They also seized items from Sears, including a loaded Glock pistol, magazines of ammunition, stolen items including ID and credit cards, drug paraphernalia, and a small amount of methamphetamine. Ricky Levine Sears is taken to Willamette Falls Hospital for treatment, then booked into Clackamas County Jail, where he is being held on charges including multiple counts of first-degree burglary, first-degree theft, first-degree criminal mischief, second-degree criminal trespass, and resisting arrest. Clackamas County detectives are still investigating this case and believe Sears may be involved in several additional burglaries throughout Clackamas County. Anyone with information on criminal activity by Ricky Laverne Sears is urged to contact the Sheriff's Office tip line by phone 503-723-4949. For as long as there's been the town of Canby, there has been the Philander Lee tree, until now. The stately white oak that was planted by the town's founding family and proudly shaded the Oregon and California rail line and later Highway 99E for 154 years was removed Tuesday due to a growing splint in the tree's trunk and concerned the property's owners and city officials. City planning and historical preservation officials confirmed Tuesday that the owners had notified and consulted them before hiring an arborist to delimb and remove the mighty oak. Both the tree's height and crown spread were estimated at more than 100 feet. The property owners did their due diligence, Canby planning manager Ryan Potter told The Current. Obviously, it has a lot of historical value, and they wanted to make sure everything was done in the best possible way. Planning staff later visited the site with a representative from the Canby Historical Society and confirmed the tree was potentially dangerous. It has several trunks, and they're cracking down the middle, which was going to make it a hazard, Potter said. Also noting the tree's proximity to Package Containers Incorporated, which owns the tree and the property on which it sat, Austin's Body Shop, and the railroad. The tree was planted by Philander Lee in 1869, the year before he would file the original town plat for Canby, named after General Edward Richard Sprigg Canby, a prominent Union Army hero from the Civil War. It was planted at the site of the family's third home, which was built by O&C Rail Works. When Lee died in 1887, his son Albert lived there. The home and the tree remained in the Lee family until 1967, when the property was sold to Package Containers by the last Lee resident, Ora Lee Cataley, Philander's granddaughter. The tree has been a part of many local childhoods for decades, as Canby's elementary schools brought busloads of students each year to visit the site and learn about Canby's pioneer history. It was believed to be one of the oldest and tallest in Canby. Tim Austin, owner of the neighboring auto body shop and son of Austin's founder Wayne Austin, practically grew up in the shade of the massive oak and lamented the end of an era. "It's sad to see the tree go away," he said. "It's been fun to see the kids come over for lunch with the classes around this time of year. It's always been a staple of the community since before my time. I understand the tree needed to come down due to its center starting to split, but it will be missed. Already seems kind of strange not seeing it out there." Palmer said the plaque that once noted the oak's inclusion on the heritage list has been donated to the collection of Canby Historical Society, which hopes to create a display honoring the tree and its place in Canby history.
Cougar Country. Hometown sports coverage is brought to you by Reif & Hunsaker, PC. When you need an attorney, turn to the firm Canby has trusted for over 50 years. Call them today at 503-266-3456. For the latest sports news, follow us on Twitter at Cougar Country OR and Instagram at Cougar Country Pod. Canby High School's track and field athletes impressed on the sport's biggest stage this weekend, winning 2 individual and team events and claiming a 5th place finish for the 5A boys at the OSAA State Championships at Hayward Field in Eugene. Senior speedster Omar Villanueva capped his Canby High School athletic career by winning the 200-meter dash with a time of 22.08 seconds, while junior teammate Cohen Hall claimed 3rd with a personal best of 22.19. Hall also nabbed a silver medal in the boys 100 meters with a personal record time of 10.86 seconds, while Villanueva finished 6th. Rounding out the individual performances on the boys' side was senior Maddox Oliver's 10th place finish in the 1500 meters with a personal record time of 4 minutes, 1.65 seconds. The Canby boys relay team of Jeremy Strong, Cohen Hall, Omar Villanueva, and Trayson Wakefield raced to a 3rd place finish in the 4x100 relay with a time of 43.1 seconds, just a half second behind Victoria Central. And in the 4x400 meter relay, the quartet of Cohen Hall, Maddox Oliver, Logan Peterson, and Omar Villanueva claimed 8th with a time of 3:30.59. In girls' track results, the 4x400 relay team of Isabella Capra, Ava Schreffler, Samantha Astorga, and Kenzie Biggie brought home the Cougars' only other gold medal, finishing 1st with a time of 4 minutes, 4.5 seconds, nearly a full second ahead of the 2nd place summit. With their impressive time, the relay quartet also captured the honor of qualifying for the Nike Outdoor Nationals in June at Hayward Field. Sophomore Kenzie Biggie, who spent most of the season rewriting the Canby distance record, books an en route to 2 Northwest Oregon Conference titles, claimed 3rd place finishes in her 2 individual events, the 1500 meters with 4 minutes and 32.4 seconds, and the 3000 meters at 9 minutes 42.4 seconds. Both marks were personal bests and new school records. Freshman Isabella Capra qualified for the girls' 400-meter finals with a PR of 59.9 seconds, but was disqualified due to a false start. In field results, senior Trayson Wakefield, a state champion in the triple jump 1 year ago, finished 4th in the events this year with a combined 13.56 meters. He also claimed 9th in the long jump with a distance of 6.31 meters. Sophomore Callie Kessler's 1.42 meter effort was good for a 10th place finish in the girls' high jump. In team scores, the Cougar boys track and field team netted a 5th place tie with Silverton with 39 points, well behind the runaway, pun intended, state champion Summit with 118.5 points. The girls secured 11th place out of 31 squads with 22 team points. For photos, follow us on Facebook and Instagram at CanbyCurrent, or find this story on our website at canbyfirst.com.
Hey, Frankie, how's that new internet deal you just signed up for working out?
Not great, actually.
Oh, sorry to hear that. How so?
Well, my bill ended up being way more than I thought it would. I actually have this statement here. Apparently I had to pay more for high data usage?
Oh, yeah. Some providers will get you for that. Sometimes they have data caps, and they can slow down your speeds and charge you extra for going over.
So I'm being punished for using my connection? That doesn't seem right.
I'm with you there. What else does your bill say?
A lot. I had to pay extra for faster upload speeds, to get Wi-Fi equipment, and there's also this infrastructure fee. I looked that up, and it turns out it's a fee so they can build out their network, mostly in other cities and states.
I hate to say it, Frankie, but it sounds like you might have only taken into account the flashy sale price and not all the fine print charges.
You may be right.
You should switch your internet to Direct Link, Canby's local cooperative provider. They don't have any hidden fees and don't nickel and dime you for using your connection. Plus, Wi-Fi is included in your internet subscription.
That sounds great. I could really use a new router, and these data overage fees are going to add up really fast.
It couldn't be easier. Just give them a call and ask about Omni. It's their all-in-one internet service that includes Wi-Fi, enhanced security, great parental controls, and easy-to-use network management apps.
And there's really no hidden fees? They won't charge me for streaming and gaming a lot?
Nope. You get fast download and upload speeds, unlimited data use, reliable and secure Wi-Fi, and local service included with any Direct Link fiber connection. Give them a call today at 503-266-8111 or visit www.direct.com. directlink.coop.
Welcome back, listeners. On the Canby Conversation today, we are going to be talking all about the highly anticipated return of one of the Canby area's most popular and unique events, the Oregon Renaissance Fair. We're delighted to be talking once again with the Oregon Renaissance Fair marketing coordinator, or as her Zoom title says, marketing extraordinaire, Shana Casey. Hey, Shana.
Hey, Tyler. How's it going? Thanks for having me back.
Good. Congratulations on that promotion to marketer extraordinaire. That's exciting.
Yes, it's a self-proclaimed title, but I'm proud of it. So.
Hey, you know what? As long as you own it, right?
Totally.
So we are in what? Our obviously COVID kind of threw a wrench a couple of years, but is this the fifth edition, sixth edition of the fair? What are we at now?
It would technically be the sixth season.
Okay.
So,
and then kind of
we had 2 years
eighth
off.
or ninth year, right?
It's 8 years technically, but
right.
Exactly. It would technically be the 8th year, but we're in the 6th season.
Okay, awesome. Well, tell us a little bit about the event for folks that haven't been or aren't familiar yet. Obviously, it's been growing. I feel like a lot of folks are aware of it at this point, but let's go ahead and humor me, will you?
Yeah, sure. Absolutely. So most Renaissance fairs across the country are usually themed some way. And the one that we have here in Oregon is a Scottish themed Renaissance fair. We've got a fictional town called the Vale of Dunrose. And Mary, Queen of Scots, is making a procession through the countryside and stopping at the Vale of Dunrose for jousting and, a celebratory kind of atmosphere. And so people can expect, you're coming in, it's a fantasy mixed with Renaissance fair and kind of anything, we draw all kinds of creative people. If you like the outdoors, if you like to cosplay, if you like to just dress up for stuff, you're going to find all of that at the Oregon Renaissance Fair.
Yeah, absolutely. And you guys really do a lot of work to kind of create the ambiance with your stages and the shops and the pubs and obviously the jousting stadium. A lot of the things you try really hard to be authentic, right?
As authentic as we can, because we do have some educational aspects to it. We have some live demonstrations happening with the village folks, and we have, a blacksmith and their forge. So, you can see there's a boffer arena where, you can kind of play fight with some foam, weapons and things like that. So you can get immersed in and learn a little bit about history too while you're there, and not just the fun of all the shops and the entertainment. There's actually some educational purpose to the Renaissance Fair as well.
Right. But it is fun, right?
It's 100% fun.
I have been, I think, 3 or 4 seasons, right, in a row. And I have never been, and I spend, hours and hours, probably like 5 to 6 hours when I go, and still I don't feel like I've ever seen everything. And it's kind of amazing how you're able to fit as much as you are into the footprint that you have at the Clackamas County Fairgrounds.
Yes, and that Clackamas County Fairgrounds is a beautiful site. There's the trees, and it really gives, I think, more of an authentic feel to it. And, because you came with children, 6 hours even wasn't enough to do everything, right?
Right.
With the kids and stuff like that. And we have over 1,000 volunteers and cast and crew that come in and build this from the ground up.
Wow. Is it, you mentioned the setting, and we have those beautiful old growth trees, and it's kind of for folks that haven't been but are familiar with the fairgrounds, kind of the RV and camping area for other events like Hairfest and things, is where, or is that going to be still the site for the Renaissance Fair this year, Shana, or is it moving?
No, it's in the same spot.
Okay.
The only thing that's different really is where the Joust will be. Before we had built out the Joust, but there's actually a horse arena that's part of the Clackamas County. We're actually going to do the Joust in there this year. So it's going to be a real arena seating, right? Yeah. And so there's going to be more merchants, more entertainment, and where the Joust used to be. So it has grown. You're going to see that it has grown just by moving the Joust arena into the actual arena.
Very
Makes a
cool.
huge difference.
Is that it has a roof, but no walls? I believe that arena.
Yes, it's the circular one.
Okay. Yeah. Awesome. That'll be really cool. But anyway, my question I was going to ask is, because I know you do your organization does a really large Renaissance Fair in Washington State as well. Are these types of events, Renaissance fairs, generally built out at fairgrounds and kind of large open field type areas like ours here in Canby at the Clackamas County Fairgrounds? Are they in parking lots, or does it kind of differ? What is usually the setting of these types of events that you've seen?
Yeah, that's a great question. Basically, it really depends. A lot of the West Coast Renaissance fairs do build from the ground up, because on the West Coast, it's hard to find enough land and be close enough for people to want to come out, right?
Yeah.
And so, we tend to build from the ground up, but there are flagship fairs, as I call them, like the Texas Renaissance Fair, New York, Minnesota. They have permanent structure. So they've actually built a town.
Oh, cool.
And, so maybe one day we can actually, it's our goal to find a permanent site so that we can build permanent.
Oh, no, don't leave
on
Canby.
there.
Please don't leave. No, I can't.
Canby, make room for us, right?
All right. Well,
if anyone's listening there and they've got 200 acres, and they want to put a Ren Fair on it.
Yeah.
So, it's our goal, but obviously think about the Pleasure Fair in California. The Renaissance Pleasure Fair has been around for almost 50 years, I believe, and they still build from the ground up too, every year.
Yeah.
So maybe we'll be in Canby for the next 50 years.
Yeah. Fingers crossed. So, Shana, when you talk about, bringing 1,000 volunteers and actors and crafters and the work to not have a permanent site, to create this literal town for used to be 2 weeks. We're going to get into it this year. We're going to have 3 weekends, but still, to build from the ground up and then take it down. So much work. What drives you? What's this all about?
Well, you know what? We have some of the best just volunteers and crew on the planet, in my opinion. I might be biased, but they work, we plan this all year round, and then these folks come in and they make it happen. And so I think what drives us is just the love and joy of the community, bringing entertainment to a place that was desperately wanting it. Oregon people used to drive up to Washington to have a good Renaissance fair, but now they don't have to drive so far. And that really is a drive for us. The fact that people enjoy it and continuously are like, when are you going to add another weekend? So we did that this year. Things like that. We listen to what the people want and we try to make that happen. And that really drives this thing forward every year.
I mean, you obviously brought this event to Canby and to Oregon and then to Canby, obviously hoping that it would grow and that folks would enjoy it. But are even you surprised at just, I guess, even how quickly it has grown and even with COVID throwing the curveballs that it did, and I know that was a difficult time, but last year was incredible. I mean, that's one of the reasons for adding the third weekend is even with the crazy weather, terrible weather last year, it was just everyone wanting to come out to this event.
It's true. You know what? I learned a lot about Oregonians last year. They are not afraid of rain or a little bad weather. It did not deter them from coming and staying in line. Last year,
if we're being honest,
it really did. And we called it the Scottish Bog.
Yes.
Yes, it was the Scottish Bog. And it was great because their spirits were still high. But as we did have overcrowding and stuff, which has never, you never sell out at a Renaissance fair and be so overcrowded.
Yeah.
That's never happened. And so we weren't prepared quite for that, but we did the best we could and people were very understanding. This year, we strove to solve all of the mistakes from last year that we weren't necessarily prepared for. So this year, tickets are capped. They're sold only online, and we're going to make sure that there's enough space for everyone to enjoy being at the festival.
Yeah. Do you have attendance numbers that you're, you mentioned capping, or do you have goals? Just curious what attendance you're expecting to see over the course of the event this year.
Well, let's say last year for 2 weekends, we had roughly right over 20,000 people come through.
Good grief.
So
that's a lot of people.
I know. That's why we're like, we need a third weekend. We need a third weekend to spread that out a little. So, I'm thinking 30,000 would probably, 25 to 30,000 this year is where it's going to be at.
That is, am I crazy? That is significantly higher than before COVID.
Yes. So I don't know if it's something that, of course, Oregonians were hungry. And when we came back last year, we were pretty much the first event of the quote unquote summer.
You were.
So, So I think that really played a part into why people are like, oh my God, there's something to do. Yay.
Right.
I feel like that definitely played a role, but we're prepared this year.
Yeah. Awesome. So you mentioned obviously the third weekend that you added. The attendance is capped. I don't remember if you mentioned, Shana. I'm sorry if you already did, but another change this year is you buy a ticket. It used to be you just bought a ticket and then show up when you could, and that was kind of an issue because folks would maybe, if the weather was bad on the Saturday, they would come on the Sunday. But when everybody does that, it can be a challenge. So this year, you buy your ticket for a certain day.
Yes, exactly. We it's kind of like, think about it like going to a concert, here's the concert date and times, and you pick the one that's best for you. We've kind of adopted that just because, and the other issue that people don't like to talk about when you do a big event is the amount of Wi-Fi and internet and cellular reception that's available for people. It starts to bog the system down, trying to run all those credit card machines at the same time. So that's why we've gone to the buy before you come. Because otherwise you might stand in line and that's what really was causing a backup in our lines, is the fact that it would take forever for a transaction to go through.
Yeah.
And so to avoid all of that, we're just going to take all of the need to buy tickets at the gate, buy them on the way to the festival. If it's available, we're already sold out on the first weekend.
Right. Which is amazing.
So there's no more tickets available on the first weekend. Saturday and Sunday is full weekend one.
Yeah. See, that's why I just go really authentic and just bring a bag of gold coins. Not everyone accepts them, but you don't have to worry about the Wi-Fi. So
that's very true. And we will have some magic ATM machines there, right?
Okay,
so,
just in case.
So if people want to buy with cash with the merchants and the food, and you don't want to, just in case the internet might get a little slow because 10,000 extra people in an area is going to bog the internet down for everybody.
Yeah. I'm always amazed at the range of folks who attend, and the Oregon Renaissance Fair is the only one I've been to. But you get the folks that are wearing, full on authentic costumes, authentic to the era, like they're a resident of Dunrose. To folks that are just there, having a good time and just enjoying the spectacle of it, wearing their T-shirts and Canby Cougar baseball caps. To folks that go like full on, like they're at a comic book convention and they're just like, are you at the wrong event because they're dressed like Spider-Man or whatever? You just get all kinds of like people just celebrating their way.
Dress up.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes. And the way you know what? There's a lot of mashup too, Tyler. Like you might see a Superman, but he may be Superman in garb. We call it garb, right? That's what Ren gets. So he might be wearing a full suit. I've seen Batman. It was like, I called it the Dark Knight, Knight, because he was dressed like a knight, but like Batman.
Yeah.
So
I remember the year I saw Deadpool, but in a kilt.
Yes. And you know what? People are so stinking creative. It's awesome. That's one of my favorite things, is to see the amount of creativity that people have.
Yeah. You mentioned, just to go back a little bit, Shana, encouraging people to buy ahead, but at least as far as tickets, that's another change this year, right? It's only online.
Correct. It's only online.
Yeah, but you can buy other things online if you wish. Is that what you're saying? Like you could buy entertainment or certain things ahead of time, or?
Sure. The only other thing that we have pre-sale there is evening. So evening entertainment is something new that we added. Saturday nights, there's going to be, if you want to stay and enjoy the nighttime activities, then there's a separate ticket for that. That's also sold out on the first weekend. So first weekend of Renaissance Fair next weekend is totally sold out in every way, shape, and form.
Wow.
The other two are available second and third weekend. Yeah.
Tyler, did you know that the Australian lyrebird can mimic any sound that it hears, even chainsaws?
No, that's super interesting.
Did you know that a baby puffin is called a puffling? Or that baby sea otters can't swim, so their moms wrap them up in pieces of kelp until they learn how to paddle?
Wait, do you know any trivia that isn't like animal related?
Not really, but here's some stuff you may not know about the Wild Hare Saloon, where Canby goes to eat and have fun.
Okay.
The Wild Hare is one of Canby's longest running locally owned restaurants. Owners Joan and Darren Moden have been in business for 16 years.
That's cool.
Yeah, heck, you were just a baby back then.
Wait, what?
And they love to give back. They've been members of the Canby Chamber for that long, and they donate over $20,000 to local sports, FFA programs, and civic organizations each year.
Wow, I'm legitimately caught off. That's cool.
Yeah, they also support more than 30 jobs in the community through their award-winning staff, some of them as young as 18. Hey, that's older than you are.
Dude, I'm 10 months younger than you.
With the days getting longer and the weather getting warmer, the Canby Wild Hare's expansive outdoor patio is the place to be. Furry friends welcome.
Well, that sounds great. I'm going to go check them out just off of Highway 99E next to the Space Age in Canby at 1656 Beaver Creek Road in Oregon City, or on their website at thewildharesaloon.net.
Okay, so tell us about that, because that was not something that you originally had, but I think you added it a few years ago, the sort of after hours or the adults only time. What's that all about?
Mm-hmm. Well, so each weekend we have different themes, right? And the themes are just for fun, right? So to give people some kind of encouragement of what they can wear and things like that. So we've got different performers that are going to come out and do stuff. So the first weekend is a relatively locally famous. They're called Abney Park. They're a steampunk band, well known.
Cool. Yeah.
And then Ignition Fire Troop is going to do intermission, where they do some fire dances and things like that with fire whips and fire circles and all kinds of different fire things.
Awesome.
The second weekend is going to be a night joust. It'll be an 80s themed night joust.
Wow.
Also with Ignition, right? So the guys are going to be all 80s out. 1980s. Yep. Yeah, it'll be like Brett Michaels and Eddie Munson. The Knights are going to play different 80s characters, and we're going to do some like a mullet relay race and stuff like that. It's going to be a lot of fun. So that's going to be second weekend.
That sounds amazing.
And the third weekend is the Whiskey Dicks.
Okay.
I know. So second weekend is where it's at. If you like the 80s and you just want to have a fun, good time and see the joust in a way you've never seen it before, then the second weekend is where you're going to want to do that.
Yeah. Yeah. I have questions about the joust. I love the joust. How does something like that come together? Where do you find the folks that are the actors for that? And the, is it scripted? Do you do rehearsals? Like, can you tell us can you raise the curtain a little bit and tell us how a spectacle like that comes together?
Sure. So in this case, we have a joust group. They're professional. They spent the last 15 to 20 years in entertainment.
Wow.
Many of them have worked at different kinds of, medieval times and different things like that. So they're trained. And they, so we do rehearsals when they come here because they're mostly all in California, and we'll do it the Fridays before. But we plan all year on a script, kind of like what we're going to do, and a lot of it is improv, though, in the moment, right?
Right.
So everything you see is kind of off the cuff.
The outcomes aren't scripted. I mean, they really are competing. on some of the things that they do in the
Correct.
Joust. Yeah, I mean those are real skills
Correct.
that they are attempting, and don't always hit the mark because it's an actual athletic thing. That they're doing.
I mean, like when you're going for the rings, trying to get a tiny ring while you're on horseback onto the tip of the joust, it's very difficult. So yes, they are actually trying and really doing those games. That part isn't scripted, even though we know that that's what games is going to happen next.
Right.
So, a lot of it's improv. There's some scripting, so we have an idea, but a lot of it is, these are very talented people who have done this for a long time, and it's just organic in a way.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Awesome. And then I'm also always really impressed at the other entertainment that you guys bring. Can you talk a little bit about that and who you're going to have this year, the other stages that you'll have?
Yeah, so we're proud of the performers. The performers are also, again, professionals in the circuit, as we say. They're in the festival circuit. They travel around the country doing festivals, and we've managed to get some incredible performers and entertainers because we're on kind of an opposite schedule than some of the big Ren fairs that we would have to compete for them. If you're going to do 8 weeks in Bristol instead of 3 weekends in Oregon. So since we don't really have any competition, we have some awesome people. We've got one of my favorites is Raptor events. I mean, we have a real live falconer, which I find to be very Renaissance appropriate, right?
Yes.
Because the falconers existed.
Yeah.
So that's one of my favorites. We've got a bunch of different stage people. We've got comedians and people that play different kinds of instruments like the hurdy-gurdy or, so like old-fashioned instruments and things like that. So you're going to find a little of everything. This year we have a live living statue person.
Oh, really?
Like she looks like a living statue. Yes,
okay.
Yes.
That sounds awesome.
So if
Shana,
you see a person that looks like a Greek statue, or something like that, that is a real person standing there.
Yeah, that's really cool. I bet she's going to get in a lot of selfies.
A favorite of the people, though, is Cirque du Soleil. People will have definitely seen Melissa Artis and her, on America's Got Talent. With her cat and rat circus.
She's been to the Oregon Renaissance Fair at least once, more than once, maybe?
Yeah, she's come every year, actually.
Oh, really? Okay, great.
We used to have her at Washington, but Bristol, like I said, is another really big Ren Fair. So she goes to that in August instead. But she has June open, and we're so blessed to have her and her, cats and rats at our event. So, and Brune is another crowd favorite.
Yeah.
He's hilarious and does all kinds of tricks with a whip and juggling bowling balls and all kinds of crap. And don't forget, there's so much stuff for the kids.
Yeah, yeah. So there's like a quest.
There's a quest. It's a dragon adventure. So you go around with the clues for the dragon adventure, and at the end you get a prize. Sounds dangerous. No, these ones are cute little dragons.
Okay, fair. Okay. Oh, like in Game of Thrones, but when the dragons were first born and they were cute.
Yes, when they're small and cute and adorable, yes, before they go fire breathing on you. The kids love it. It's a lot of fun. But, there's a puppet show, Punch and Judy, that's been around since the Renaissance era, and it's a kind of a dying art, but we're lucky to have someone that does it. Yeah. Robin Hood and Maid Marian is an interactive stage show that includes the children. So much fun for the kids.
Yeah. Yeah, very cool. I think I saw that you're also adding another pub.
Yes, the Kilted Stag will be in service, so that will be 2 pubs. The Kilted Stag and the Cat and the Fiddle are the 2 pubs that we have. So definitely have lots of local ales. We'll have mead, which if you're 21 and over and you haven't tried mead, this is the place to do it.
Yeah, yeah. To really get the authentic feel of the Renaissance Fair.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Well, yeah, it just sounds like a ton of fun. I'm just getting excited to go back again. I guess I can't go the first weekend, like you said, but where can folks check out, get more information, and get tickets?
They will want to go to our website, which is OregonFair.com, and that's FAIRE.com.
Don't forget the E.
And you can get your tickets there. You can see the map, get information on which merchants and entertainers are going to be there. And if you are interested in joining our wonderful volunteer cast and crew, we have, we are always want volunteers to come out and join our little Faire family, as I call it. All that can be found on the website.
Okay, awesome. And you mentioned the first weekend sold out. The 2 remaining weekends, which will be the second and third weekend in June, but all 3 weekends have different themes that aren't sort of mandatory, right? But add a little bit of a different element for folks that do enjoy doing the cosplay or kind of dressing up.
Yes. The second weekend's a pirate theme. So, lots of people, pirates and Ren fairs always go hand in hand. So if you've got, there's not a lot of, there used to be a Portland Pirate Festival, and I think that went away. And so we're trying to, give people a little bit of that feel with the pirates on that second weekend. The third weekend is a Celtic celebration. So that is all things Scottish to kind of close out the season with, just love for Mary Queen of Scots.
Awesome.
And so, wear your tartan and all that other stuff on that weekend.
Awesome. Very cool. The last thing I want to ask you, Shana, and just give you a chance to share with folks is the nonprofit sort of parent organization that puts this on, and then the Washington State one as well. Can you tell us a little bit about it?
Yep, the organization is RAES, the Washington Renaissance Arts and Education Society, because we started up in Washington, but we're covering the Pacific Northwest. Our goal and mission is to provide entertainment through education and vice versa, education through entertainment. They intermingle. And so that's why we have those, even though there's a lot of fantasy elements like fairies and different things like that, there's a lot of actual demonstrations, like I was saying. So, and also some pirates come and they actually bring real pirate paraphernalia from back in the days to share and show people. You could touch these different weird items that they used to use on pirate ships. It's really cool. So there's education intermingled with the fun of it. And that's really our goal, is to provide that both of those elements in one event.
Yeah. Yeah. Not mutually exclusive, fun and learning, right?
Yes. Hey, we've learned that you can make learning fun.
Absolutely. That's awesome. Are the Renaissance Fair events and the main things that your organization does, or do you have other things as well that you do to fulfill on that mission?
Well, we do have other things in the works. We did have a pirate festival separately that we used to do in July, but we kind of absorbed it into the Oregon Fair for an extra weekend.
Yeah.
By adding that pirate festival. So we did do a pirate festival, and we do have a couple of other ideas in the works. I won't give it away, but obviously as soon as we know, I will be contacting you, and then we can let everybody in Canby and surrounding areas know about it too.
Absolutely. Well, Shana, thank you so much for taking time out to talk to us. Thank you to you and all of the amazing actors and administrators and volunteers and organizers and dragon tamers and everyone else that makes this event this wonderful event take place every year here in our community and at our fairgrounds. And thank you for your time and talking to us today. It's always a delight.
Well, thank you, Canby, for welcoming us with such open arms for the last 6 years. We've been blessed to be a part of that community and and the support as we've grown, you know what I mean? And we're watching Canby grow too, and that's always exciting year after year to see how much Canby grows.
Yeah.
So thank you for having us.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Hey, I'm AJ. I'm your local Oddmos franchise owner.
I'm Mike, co-founder of Oddmos.
And we're the hosts of The Odd Pod, a podcast about
life in the pizza industry. We're going to have on some franchisees. We're going to have some different vendors on. We're going to get a snapshot of what goes on behind the scenes in the pizza world.
Don't forget to tell them about the sports.
There's sports.
And the crazy wacky pizza that we have every Wednesday that we create. And we also have a special guest every week as well.
And I'm Gage, Odd Pod Senior Sports Analyst.
Gage, who gave you that title?
Me.
Oh boy. Find us on Spotify and Apple Music and the Podbean.
Now Hear This Canby is produced by me, Tyler Clausen. Our content director and star reporter is Tyler Frankie. And of course, our show is edited by Cameron Clausen. We also feature the vocal talents of Joy Struby and James Walden. So a round of applause to them. The song that you're hearing right now is Canby by singer-songwriter Olivia Harms, used with her permission. To find more work from her, you can visit her website olivia13.com.
Now Hear This Canby is dedicated to preserving independent local journalism and redefining local news with our fun, fresh, and energetic brand of storytelling. Our sincere thanks to our local sponsors who make this show possible. Please show your appreciation by supporting the small businesses who support us.
The production of Now Hear This Studios, Canby's locally owned full-service audio, video, and media production company. Our mission is to produce the best content in the universe, and we'd love to help you do it. Find us online at nhtstudios.com.
I will take a motion to adjourn.
I just moved it.
I didn't even ask for it, though.